Hey, welcome to the 15th lesson on C++. Throughout this lesson, we will familiarize ourselves with the topic of enumerations, understand why they are needed, and learn how to use them in the C++ language. Enumerations allow you to create a list of all possible options. Such a list is convenient for us as programmers, as it provides a centralized location with a complete list of all possible and available options that can be used in specific contexts. To create enumerations, we need to use the keyword enum, which is a shortened form of the word enumerations. After that, we need to write the name of the enumeration. It can be anything. Let's say I'll name it options. Then you open and close curly braces, and at the end, you put a semicolon, just like with structures. Next, you can describe various options. Later on, you can choose and set these options for your objects. You can also check these options. In case, for example, one option is chosen for your object, you perform a specific action in the code. If another option is selected, you perform a different action. For now, let's just write some options. I'll use options like open, close, wait, and delete. You can write as many different options as you want here. When you write options, use meaningful names without any special characters. So now, I have options such as open, close, wait, and delete. Now, let's create a structure. I'll name this structure file, and here we'll write characteristics for our file, such as the file's weight, a name, and I also want our file to have options. That is, we'll specify what kind of file it is, whether it's closed, open, waiting, or possibly already deleted. Of course, we could create options in the same format. For example, we would create a string called options, and when creating an object, we would manually substitute different values. However, we would face the inconvenience of having to remember what options exist for this file each time. It would be much more convenient to say that here we have an enumeration called options. From this enumeration, we will choose one available option. So, we no longer need to remember what options we have, we simply choose from a ready-made list. Let's name this object options here. Now, in our main function, we can create an object based on my structure. Let's call it my file. Then, we can access this object, and let's say we can set its weight. Let our file weigh 1.5 megabytes or kilobytes, that's up to you. Also, I'll set a name for the file. Let it be the file test.txt. Additionally, we can add options to our file. To do this, we refer to an object called options. Next, I can substitute one of the values we have in the enumerations here. This is done very simply. We refer to our enumeration, options, and then we need to write 2 colons. After that, we can refer to any of the values. Let's specify that at the moment, our file is closed. Now let's try to output some value to the screen. For this, we'll use the standard output function and refer to the enumeration. If we run the program, we'll see that it printed 1. That is, when you output a value from an enumeration, it doesn't display the text of that option but displays the numeric value assigned to that option. The logic here is that each time, for the first element, the value 0 is assigned. For all subsequent elements, this number increases. Therefore, close is already 1, wait is already 2, and delete is already 3. In reality, you won't have to deal with these values much, but just know that when you try to output a value from an enumeration, a number is displayed, not just the text of the option itself. Here, let's comment out this line of code, so that it doesn't interfere, and consider another option. How can we check which value was assigned to the file? Checks here are also made as simple as possible. That is, we can refer to our file, and then to the options. Next, we check if suddenly such an option is set for us, as, for example, close. Then in this case, let's print a message to the screen that the file is closed. That is, the checks are implemented as straightforward as possible. we referred to our value and checked it against one of the values inside the enumerations. And indeed, we see that our check worked, and the file is indeed closed. In conclusion, enumerations are useful for describing all possible options. You can assign such options to objects and later perform various checks, comparisons, and so on. And overall, our lesson comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Until we meet again, goodbye.